From the boulder so fast that John Henry vanished from sight, but you could still hear his hammers. Ring, ring! The air seemed to be dancing to the rhythm of his hammers. The boss of the road crew looked up. His mouth dropped open. He pointed into the sky. There, in the air above the boulder, was a rainbow. John Henry was swinging the hammer so fast, he was making a rainbow around his shoulders. It was shining and shimmering in the dust and gripped like hope that never dies. John Henry started singing, I got a rainbow, ring, ring. Tie around my shoulder, ring, ring. It ain't gonna rain. No, it ain't gonna rain. Ring, ring. Yeah. All right. Ready? John Henry sang. And back to the scheduled program. John Henry sang and the hammer and the air danced and the rainbow shimmered and the earth shook and rolled from blows of hammer. Stay still. Finally, it was quiet. Slowly, the dust cleared. All right, well, look at your words. Folks could not believe their eyes. The boulder was gone. In its place was the prettiest and straightest road they had ever seen. Not only had John Henry pulverized the boulder into pebbles, he had finished building the road. In the distance where the new road connected to the main one, the road crew saw John Henry waving goodbye. A hammer on each shoulder, the rainbow draped around him like love. All right, here we go. So we're finally about to get to it, right?
Yes.
John Henry went on his way. He had heard that any man good with a hammer could find work building the Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad through West Virginia. That was where he had been going when he stopped to build the road. The next day, John Henry arrived at the railroad. However, work had stopped. Had to go through a mountain, and such a mountain. Next to it, even John Henry felt small. But a worker told John Henry about a new machine they were going to use to tunnel through the mountain. Hey, that's another. A tunnel is an actual is an actual thing that you can touch. Yeah. But if you tunnel through something, that's showing action, right? Yes. If you tunnel through, that means you're going through.
So it's like an action verb?
But so it's an action verb, right? You can tunnel through something and you can actually touch. Hey, that's a tunnel. Got it? Mm-hmm. All right. So you may hear or see that again somewhere. It was called a steam drill. You looking at your word?
Yes.
It can hammer faster and harder than 10 men, and it never has to stop and rest. The next day, the boss arrived with the steam drill. John Henry said to him, let's have a contest. Your steam drill against me and my hammers. The man laughed. I've heard you're the best there ever was, John Henry. But even you can't out-hammer a machine. Let's find out, John Henry answered. Boss shrugged. Don't make me know, never mind. You start on the other side of the mountain. I'll start the steam drill over here. Whoever gets to the middle first is the winner. Here we go. The next morning, all was still. The birds weren't singing and the roosters weren't crowing. When the son didn't hear the rooster, he wondered if something was wrong. So he rose a couple of minutes early to see. Wait a minute now, what just happened? The son did what?
He said he did.
All right, Marcus, how come over here?
The sun rose earlier.
Why did he do it? It was upset about something.
Because he didn't hear the birds and the turkeys.
All right, the roosters didn't crow, and the sun, is it the sun we're talking about?
Yeah, and the birds.
All right, and said, hey, look, I didn't hear you roostering. You weren't crowing. I mean, what's going on down there? All right, here we go. What he saw was a mountain as big as hurt feelings. Ooh. On one side was a big machine hooked up to hoses. It was belching smoke and steam. I like that, belching smoke and steam. As the machine attacked the mountain, ooh, good. Rocks and dirt and underbrush flew into the air. On the other side was John Henry. Next to the mountain, he didn't look much bigger than a wish that wasn't going to come true. He had a 20-pound hammer in each hand and Moses' hardest wisdom in each arm. As As he swung them through the air, they shone like a silver. And when the hammers hit the rock, they rang like gold. Before long, tongues of fire leaped out with each blow. You see John Henry?
Yeah.
Look at it. Yeah, buddy. Rainbow is uncovering, man. On the other side of the boss of the steam drill felt the mountain shudder. He got scared and hollered, "I believe this mountain is caving in." From the darkness inside the mountain came a deep voice. "It's just my hammer sucking wind. Just my hammer sucking wind." There wasn't enough room inside the tunnel for the rainbow to have wrapped itself around the mountain on the side where John Henry was. All through the night, John Henry and the steam drill went at it. In the light from the tongues of fire shooting out of the tunnel from John Henry's hammer blows, folks could see the rainbow wrapped around the mountain like a shawl. Show me a shawl. Where's a shawl? Where do you put a shawl? Around you, like a jacket.
Yes, like a
All right, okay, you got it? The sun came up extra early the next morning to see who was winning. Just as it did, John Henry broke through and met the steam drill. The boss of the steam drill was flabbergasted. Oh my galligasket. Flabbergasted. John Henry had come a mile and a quarter. How much is a quarter? Raise your hand. How much is a quarter of a mile? Let me see. In fractional terms. How much is a quarter of a mile in fractional terms?
1/4.
Yeah.
I should have said.
It takes 4 quarters to make a whole dollar, right?
Yeah.
So if you hear a quarter of something, it's 1/4. All right. Look. Are you paying attention?
Yes.
Is a fourth. From the 3 to the 6 is the other fourth. From the 6 to the 9 is the third fourth, and the 9 to the 12 is the fourth fourth. Right? Which makes the whole thing. You got it? Where am I, you all? Help me.
Right there.
Flabbergasted.
Now the sun.
The sun?
No.
Okay, quarter. Here we go. The steam drill had only come a quarter. And so the steam drill only went a fourth. But he had gone a mile and fourth. Good job. You ready?
Yes.
Folks were cheering and yelling, "John Henry! John Henry!"
Oh, you want
John Henry walked out of the tunnel into the sunlight, raised his arms over his head, a hammer in each hand. The rainbow slid off the mountain and around his shoulders. With a smile, John Henry's eyes closed, and slowly he fell to the ground. John Henry was dead. He had hammered so hard and so fast and so long that his big heart had burst. Wow. All right, so listen. Watch this. Watch this. Everybody was silent for a minute. Then came the sound of soft crying. Some said it came from the moon. Another one said she saw the sun shed a tear. Wow. Wow. Then something strange, John. Then something strange happened. Afterward, folks swore the rainbow whispered it. No, Sade, I don't know. But whether it was a whisper or a thought, everyone had the same knowing at the same moment. Dying ain't important. Everybody does that. What matters is how well you do your living. What skill does that sentence sound like to you? Just found the theme of this for John Henry, right?
Yes.
But read that sentence about what matters. Read that sentence to me. I'm listening to everybody. What matters is how well you do your living. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Hey, that's something to live by. All right, you ready to look back down?
Yes.
What's the word I'm about to begin with?
First.
Thank you. That means you are with me. First, one person started clapping, then another, and another. Soon everybody was clapping. And look, the next morning the sun got everybody everybody up early to say goodbye to John Henry. They put him on a flatbed railroad car, and the train made its way slowly out of the mountains. All along the way, folks lined both sides of the track, and they were cheering and shouting through their tears. John Henry! John Henry! John Henry's body was taken to Washington, D.C. Some say he was buried on the White House lawn late one night while the president and the Mrs. President was asleep. I don't know about none of that. What I do know is this. If you walk by the White House late at night, stand real still and listen real closely. Folks say you just might hear a deep voice singing.
Yes!
No, the first time I touch it.
I gotta sing. I gotta get this out.
Let's do the blues version. Let's do the blues version. Okay, it's like.
All right, give me a beat then. That was just like.